I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, January the 9th, brought to you in part by Macrocin by Bimeda. Macrocin is a bold, straight-shooting telithromycin injection that does what it's supposed to do for you, for your cattle, and for your bottom line. For more information, go to macrocin.com. Also, Joplin Regional Stockyards, another big run for them, and it's just getting normal occurrence for them to have massive runs of yearlings here when nobody else has any yearlings. But 12,000 head with at least 100 loads of yearlings in there. Of course, there'll be a lot of calves because it's that time of year too, but big run at Joplin. They'll be going early. They'll be on bunches by 6, guys. They like to get started early and get done at a decent time. They're also going to have a special cow and bull sale on Wednesday, this Wednesday, January the 11th at 4:30. Got several nice quality replacement cows and bred heifers there for you. Be some dispersals and things, but get on there and check out that sale. Of course, you can view and bid both of those sales at dvauction.com. Good riddance to holiday interruptions. Enough's enough. I mean, how many of you guys have also thought maybe we could spread some of these holidays out a little bit? It just seems like we can't get anything done for about 3 weeks or a month there because holidays. Everybody's closed up, shut down, running on kind of curbed receipts or lighter holiday or schedules for the holiday. It's just you can't get anything done there. But now we're done with them for a while. I wish we could take one of those and put it out in August somewhere when we really need a break, but can't do that. But we get through these holiday interruptions. We can get our harvest back on track. We've been running way behind. We lost about 43,000 head compared to a year ago this holiday season compared to a year ago because of the way that the holidays fell. And we'll pick back up on that. In 2022, our slaughter overall was a bit higher than it was the year before, especially on your females. And I told you guys time and time again that we were harvesting more does than we were bucks. And you look at the year-end information there for your 2022 heifer slaughter. It was up 5.2% compared to the previous year. It was up 13% compared to the 5-year average. Just sit and think about that for a little while. Where's our replacement heifers going to come from if we're slaughtering that many more heifers than normal? Our beef cow slaughter, not just cow slaughter, but beef cow slaughter in 2022 was up 12% over the previous year. It was up 25% over the 5-year average, guys. I mean, we're talking about getting into endangered species level here, guys. And I don't know where these cow buyers are going to come up with their cows. They're going to get crazy high. And if you got guys in there picking around trying to pick up some bred cows, even short bred cows or something that they think they can rebreed or something like that, these cow prices are going to get crazy. And especially on replacement types, bred heifers and things. I told you about the special they're going to have in Joplin on Wednesday. If you think you've got a home for some or you can stand some, you better be getting in there and getting some of these bought because they are going to go, I mean, just out of sight here. But we'll get these holiday interruptions over. We can get back to our weekly trends. We can kind of keep a track on this market a little bit. We haven't had consistent enough sales to really be able to tell kind of, you know, what our trend is, especially on feeder cattle and calves, because we've just been running on, you know, big specials where we have runs there better than what we normally have and larger groups, and they're more consistent as to quality, and then we don't have nothing the next week or vice versa. But we'll get back to having a regular trend so we can kind of keep tabs on this market, and maybe we can give the board some semblance of a reason to be an indicator of what cattle are worth. The board is just, it'll go up, $2.50 and then slowly take that back over the next 3 sessions or vice versa or something like that. It's got a better indication of what the price of tea in China is than it does what cattle are worth, commercial cattle. And it does not allow for hedging or any kind of risk management for that matter. And so we would like to get that thing kind of shored back up a little bit. I haven't checked in with my old buddy EC Ellison Carter there in Santo, Texas. He can order by you some lightweight calves. If you think these calves are too high that you're seeing selling in your neighborhood, or you hear me talk about here on the feeder flash, and you'd like to get some cattle delivered to you that might have a chance of working, you're going to have to straighten them out. So you got to understand that you're going to have to straighten them out. But I tell you what, the quality's pretty much good enough to go anywhere, guys. They may not have enough hair to go to the extreme north, but spring's going to get here one of these days, and you need to be thinking about some kind of a place to get some grass cattle bought, and here's a place that can absolutely do it. Ellison Carter cattle. These are the cattle that he shipped out on Sunday here this past weekend. These are delivered prices from North Texas to the Texas Panhandle to western Oklahoma and maybe even southwest Kansas. But these are delivered prices. You can kind of prorate where you're at compared to where he's at near Weatherford, Texas. But had a load of lightweight Pee-wee steers and bulls. Weighed 270, bring 228. They were all black. Load weight 350 pounds, fancy little steers and bulls, all black at 214. Load weight 405, sure good enough. Brought 210.90. Load average 460 pounds at 203. That's starting to sound pretty reasonable. How about some, and it really breaks right in there, about 450 going up. 490 pound load, average 183.30, load weight 600 pounds, smooth at 175 delivered, load weight 640 at 173.50 delivered. He'd say you'd like the condition of most all these cattle. How about the heifers? Load of Pee-wee heifers weighed 395, delivered at 191.80. Some plainer heifers, if you can stand them, weigh 465 at 168.55. Another load of plainer heifers weighed 475 at 163.55. Load of fancy black heifers weighed 480, delivered at 183.20. Load of plainer heifers weighed 565 at 158.25. Load of all black heifers weighed 580 at 167.75. And then a load of fancy all black heifers, probably good enough to keep, weigh 615 pounds, delivered for 167.25. That's EllisonCarterCattle.com. Let's talk about your board. Your February live cattle futures for last week. Monday was a holiday, of course. That was your true New Year's Day was Monday and not exactly Sunday, but that's when they recognized it was on Monday, so there was no board on Monday on February live cattle. Tuesday was down $1.05. Wednesday up $1.42, or up just 42, excuse me. Thursday up 7 cents, and Friday down 57. With your February live cattle futures ending the week last week, holiday week, thank God they're over, at 156.77, down $1.13 for the week. April ended the week at 160.67. January feeder cattle for last week. Monday was a holiday. Tuesday they were down $1. Wednesday up $2.52, and then the next 2 sessions took every drop of that away. Thursday down 142 and Friday down $1.10. With January feeder cattle contracts ending the week at 182.70, down $1 for the week, which doesn't really bother me because it's still trading at a pretty hefty premium to what cash index levels are. So I'm not sure why they stay up there so high, but it makes your LRP deal pretty good because you're based off that price up there, those high prices when you start, and then whenever it comes to fruit, it's off your cash price, so you're already probably $5 or $6 to the good right there. March feeder cattle ended the week at 185.65, down 57 cents for the week. Your fat cattle trade up through Thursday of last week. They'd sold 43,200 head, which is light, but it was a holiday week, but they were purchasing for this big full week here. And I think they're going to be pretty short bought coming into this full week. Probably going to be looking for some cattle early in the week. But live sales of steers and heifers in your 5-area feeding region ranged from 153 to 160 and a half. That 153 was a farce in Nebraska. I'm not sure who did that. We're going to find out exactly how many there are by our next visit when we get the wrap up of that whole deal. But you know, realistic low end would have been around 156 instead of 153. But your weighted average on live steers in your 5-area feeding region was 157.87. That was up 81 cents for the week. So gained pretty good ground both Christmas holiday week and New Year's holiday week. Dress sales ranged in price from $248 to $254. That was steady to $2 higher. Your weighted average on dress steers in the 5-area, $250-$201, up 92 cents compared to the previous week's weighted average. So pretty good gaining through light receipts and light trade there during your holidays. Friday we had a little bit more trade that was not included in what I just give you. Iowa had 2,100 head of sales confirmed, 19,500 head for the week. Live sales on Friday in Iowa, 157 to 159. Dress sales all at 252. And almost all your dress sales last week were right at 252. Nebraska, 7,300 head for the week, 18,800 head for the whole week. The 7,300 head was just on Friday. Live sales on Friday in Nebraska, 156 to 157. That was on the lower end of the spread. Dress sales 252. Kansas, just one load confirmed on Friday, 9,500 head for the week, which is light for them, all at 157. Texas didn't have any confirmed sales on Friday, 4,700 head for the week, and everything they sold was at 157. Excuse me. Box beef cutout values. Your weighted average for choice cuts on all of last week's sales, $283.62. That was up $3.54 compared to the weighted average from the previous week. And your late week sales were a little bit lower than that, about 63 cents lower. Late week sales on choice cuts ended at $283 even. Both choice cuts and select cuts, your weighted average for all of last week's sales, were about $17 higher than before the holidays. So we gained a bunch of ground on our cutout values through the holidays too, which is not typical. All of your select sales, the weighted average on those for last week was $256.83. That was $8.17 higher than the weighted average from the previous week. Late week sales were another $1.50 higher than that, ending last week at $259.34. Choice select spread on last week's trade, $26.79 on about 494 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter for last week, 563,000, 16,000 more than the previous week, Christmas week's holiday harvest there, but 56,000 less than the same week a year ago. And I told you through the 2 weeks of holidays, we come up with 43,000 less estimated harvest than we had the previous year. Talk about what else is going on. The feeder flash beaver clash, if that's stuck in your head, that is tomorrow. That is Tuesday at Beaver, Oklahoma, Beaver County Stockyards. Going to be going over there here today on Monday. Going to be getting in over there, and we're going to have a get together on Monday evening. We're going to be watching the championship football game. We'll have refreshments. If you guys are in the area, we invite you to stop by. We expect to have a pretty good crowd, and probably going to be the biggest thing going on in Beaver, Oklahoma on Monday evening. But we got big screen TV set up in the ring, and we got TVs set up in the lobby, and already had 5,000 head of cattle in for the big feeder flash Beaver Clash feeder cattle special to be held on Tuesday. There was over 5,000 in on Sunday afternoon. So going to have a big run. Be 50 loads of yearlings. A lot of them will be short yearlings, but they will be the long time weaned that have been weaned and turned back out, which is just as good as an old cropper guy. There's going to be a lot of those. A lot are going to be in a stocker weight if you guys are interested in them. But if you're interested in viewing or bidding that sale online, go to dvauction.com, call in there to Beaver County Stockyards ahead of time, and give them the information they need. They can get you approved where you can view and bid that feeder flash Beaver Clash on Tuesday. Talk about your feeder cattle market to end the week. Your real-time index on DV Auction, based on an 800-pound steer up through your middle 12 states, ended the week at 180.03. That was 43 cents lower than the previous weeks, but now we've kind of established it now. We've gotten enough head count in there now where we've kind of established that index price level there, and it's not going to be nearly as volatile as it's been over the last couple of weeks, because now we've got enough head count in there to kind of hold it. But that's $180 on an 800-pound steer cash price. You know, that's what they're worth, guys. They'll bring more than that if they're consistent in quality, especially if they're in the northern plains. But you know, that's on the small bunches, the singles, and everything. But got several big sales here on Monday. Got a big feeder special in Russell, Iowa at Russell Livestock. View and bid that on DV Auction. My friend Ted Baum's got a big sale at Elgin, Nebraska. Several big reputation strings going to be on that. The Dickoff production sale up in South Dakota is going to be at 1 o'clock here today, Monday, 1 o'clock Central. Get on to dvauction.com, view and bid that sale right there. Let's talk about your big sales late last week or over the weekend. And your cash feeders for last week compared to 2 weeks ago, because that's the last time we had a good test. Your stockers through the holidays were $5 to $15 higher. Easy. Feeder weights going right into the feed yard firm to $5 higher. Still awful good, but man, I tell you what, last week your stocker weight cattle just went through the roof. Some big sales on Saturday. Fort Scott Livestock Market had a big sale on Saturday. It's a regular sale day. 4,000 plus head of just feeders there. Market was sharply higher than the much lighter run they had the previous Saturday. But you look at this automated market report and you look at the trends out to the side. That's the change in the weighted average prices within the 100-pound weight groups compared to the previous sale. And like I said, a much lighter receipts, but you can just tell everything was sharply higher. And if you add some of those up, there was near 1,700 head of steers weighing from 600 to 900 pounds. They averaged from 180 to 183. Pretty darn impressive there at Fort Scott Livestock Market in Fort Scott, Kansas. Your Zoetta stick-out sale of the day for late last week and over the weekend was Burwell Livestock Market there. 3,300 head of feeders there for their sale last Friday. Look at this automated market report for them. Oh my gosh, look at the best tested weights. 369 head of 5-weight steers in Burwell, Nebraska. Average 565 with a weighted average price of $217.37. 888 head of 6-weight steers. Average 663, the weighted average price of $204.27. 474 head of 7-weight steers, average $737, the weighted average price on all of them of $189.87. Some heifers, 397 head of 5-weight heifer calves, average $553 with a weighted average price of $195.89. And listen to these quotes. This is heifers. 719 head of 6-weight heifers, be mostly all calves, average $641 with a weighted average price of all of them of $190.49. Very, very impressive, and it has a lot to do with how many heifers we've been harvesting, guys. How about some individual quotes? Sterling Livestock Commission in Sterling, Colorado, 65 steers, weighed 531 at 243. Pretty impressive right there. How about Fort Pierre Livestock Auction in Fort Pierre, South Dakota? They sell 80 head of steers on Friday, weighed 701 at $2.02 a pound. Wow. But your most impressive quote for late last week and over the weekend, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, indeed come out of Burwell Livestock Market in Burwell, Nebraska. They sell 174 steers, weighed 811 pounds at 187 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Monday.